So today we started our new series, Full on Thanks. And the big perspective here, it's a huge shift from the series we just came out of, Wicked, talking about all kinds of forces, not just hypothetical, but literal supernatural forces that are constantly getting us to be self-centered and selfish and awful. And this series during the holiday season is a great change of pace. What I've often found is that we can't even necessarily answer this question. And we're asked it a lot, at least I was when I was a kid. Are you thankful or grateful? And you express that thankfulness and gratitude, not just internally, right? Something good happens, you're like, oh, thank you, oh, so good. Or people, this is what I think is really funny too, people who are so far disconnected from God will say the line, oh, thank God. I always find that so interesting, right? Where people don't thank God for anything else, but when something good happens or something like that, oh, thank God. So are you thankful? Do you feel like if people were to describe you in some way, they'd be like, oh, it's a grateful person, that's a thankful person. What I've found is what I'd argue, is that typically whether or not we're thankful or full of thanks is it's a stance of awareness, right? Are we aware of why things are happening to us, the good and the bad? When we're not aware because, well, there's just something that happens, I should do it on this side. What we had described it this Sunday was there's an action, there's all kinds of actions going on in the world. And so we have a reaction. And there's some part of this that's inescapable, right? There's a million actions and we're always reacting. And a simple people will live into that, right? Good things happen, happy. Bad things happen, sad, so forth. What sets us, the people of God, apart, we hope, is that God calls us to reflect, to think about why things are happening, to be wise. Paul even says this, I think it's in Philippians, where he says, whatever's true, pure, noble, right, all these different things, think about these things, because we don't naturally think about these things. We naturally just see something for what it is and we react. And the people of God are called to have an action happen, we react, but then we are proactive, right? That's an addition to this equation. We reflect. We ask, why are these good things happening? Why are these bad things happening? Because without that thoughtfulness behind it, we become real arrogant, right? A good thing happens, we take credit for it. A bad thing happens, why, God? But when we become thoughtful, reflective, proactive, we start to realize that things happen and we can feel good or bad. When a good thing happens, it is a lot of times because God has brought something good. And when bad things happen, we don't blame God. But a lot of times, a lot of the bad stuff that happens in my life, majority, I can attribute to myself. Or maybe even my inability to help other people to react more kindly or more lovingly, right? A bad thing might happen, and if I don't proactively react to it with other people or whatever, it's just going to bring on more bad. So where do you stand on this today, right? Not just are you thankful, but are you aware of what you need to give thanks for? We talked about today how it's not just a thing of awareness to be thankful. It's a thing of trust. If we go all the way back to the Garden of Eden, why did it go awry? Why did it go off? It's because at some point Adam and Eve said, "Can we trust God?" He told us not to do this one thing, and Eve starts to question it, right? And if Eve was questioning it, I bet Adam was starting to question it too, right? Is it really bad if we don't eat from this tree? Is it really bad? Will God provide us with everything we need? And this is a thing that is not just throughout all the Bible, it's throughout human history, right? We constantly think that there is not a God who will stand up for us, who will provide for us, and so we've got to figure it out on our own. And if we're figuring it out on our own, we don't need to thank God for anything. We just thank ourselves, right? When the Israelites are first rescued out of slavery in Egypt, one of the many times they're rescued out of slavery, they immediately get back to bickering and even say at one line, right, like it was better off when we were in Egypt under Pharaoh. Well, they were being tortured. And the Jewish people to this day still celebrate this idea, phrase, a Hebrew phrase that I try to live my life by. My wife and I both are obsessed with it. Dayenu, which translates roughly to, it would have been enough, right? If God does nothing else moving forward, if this is all the good we get, and it's good that He gave us, not good that we created, but He gave us. If this is all we get, we're a humble people, and we're thankful that we got anything at all, right? And so we say, Dayenu, it would have been enough, it would have been enough. It's such a humble way to approach life, a thankful way to approach life, recognizing we don't deserve anything. If we do deserve something, it's not good. And this goes all the way back to what is said in the scriptures, right? There's so much to be grateful for, because it was when we were still sinning, rebelling, not trusting God, that Christ died for us. Nobody gives their life for other people, but Jesus did, because He was thankful for what God had done and was going to do and was doing. So are you thankful? We ended our service today. This is a really, really cool thing where I thought it was cool. We called. We actually, at the last 5 minutes of service, we just called people that we were thankful for and told them we were thankful. I bet there's somebody that you need to reach out to right now and tell them how thankful you are that they're in your life or were in your life for a season. If somebody's passed, right, they've already gone on, I bet there's somebody that is connected to that person that you kind of know, and you can even reach out and just say, hey, I was thinking about how thankful I was for this person who's now passed on, and I need to express that to somebody. At the very least, we got to figure out ways to be thankful towards God. Anything good that happens is not because of us, but it's because of Him. Anything that bad happens, I think, is because of us, not because of Him. We've got to be aware of what we need to be thankful for. We need to have everything in its right place. And if not, we'll live a life thanking nobody but ourselves. And that's what went wrong in the first place. Might you find the courage and the strength and the perspective to be thankful and to actually express it and share it with your God and with one another.